The internet is a beautiful thing. It has allowed us to advance technology beyond comprehension, and it has lowered the gates of exclusivity to industries like filmmaking, which before were almost impossible to get into. Along the way, though, we have accidentally trained an entire generation of filmmakers to think that editing means fast cuts and cool effects. Zooms, whip pans, speed ramps, sound effects, motion graphics. But here's the problem. None of those things tell a story. Today, we're talking about the difference between editing a movie and editing content. Both are very important, if not equally important, but they are two different things. And a lot of self-taught editors start by editing content and then market themselves and try and get jobs editing short films and independent features, and then wonder why people aren't always happy. That's the conversation I'd like to have this evening. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Nick Williams Show. My name is Nick Williams. I'm an independent filmmaker and producer from Boston. We've got a great show for you tonight, just like we do every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Join us in the chat if you're watching live. We like to read all the comments, even the, hey, you're so handsome, and whatever else, because context doesn't matter to my lovely and wonderful producer who's joining me in studio this evening, Mr. Ed.
Hey, Nick, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, Edmund. Couldn't do it, wouldn't do it without you. Edmund, we had a big week this past week.
We did?
Oh, the biggest.
Okay.
Why did we have a big one? Just kidding. We got some stuff to talk about at the end of the show as well, but I got to get into this type of stuff. Edmund, you've done some editing, haven't you?
Quite a bit.
What was how old were you? Now, you are significantly older than me.
Yeah, quite a bit.
How old were you when you first edited anything? And I literally mean Windows Movie Maker. When did you,
software or in-camera edit? Because I did that when I was a child.
I love that you just said that. I love that you just said that, because I also, with mini DV tapes, I used to call it the I Dream of Genie effect, where you do magic, where you point at the cup and you go, bing, and then you stop recording, move the cup out of the way, try and match the same position, and go, bing, and you start recording again, and it just vanishes. Great times, by the way. Great times. And when you played it back, because it was a mini DV tape, it just disappeared.
Or VHS tape, which is what I grew up on, actually. But to answer your question, Nick.
But people don't know what that is.
To answer your question, Nick.
How old were you?
I think I was about maybe 12 with Windows Movie Maker, and then about maybe 13 for Pinnacle Studio, which my high 8, digital 8 Sony TRV 260 camera plugged right into my computer. Mm-hmm. And then maybe 15-ish, Adobe Premiere Pro 6.5.
We're not there yet. I asked what age you were.
Sorry.
Simple question. Simple question. What age were you when you started editing? Not, hey, give me everything you've ever edited, fucking ever. Let's review Edmund's portfolio of his entire life.
12.
Thanks. I was 11. Not that I'm better or whatever, but I was, no, because if you started when you were 12, you were animating cave paintings.
Yeah.
And I was 11, so this was 2006 that I started editing.
All right.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, you had a face where you were like, hold on?
I was just thinking I was driving and when you were editing. Anyway.
I was 11 years old, and I started editing, and it's just been something that I have always found to be one of the most integral parts of making a film, because it's the final pass. It's the final things go wrong on set. There's a lot of times on set where maybe you have a shot list, maybe you have some things that you want to do, but then someone will come up with an idea and it totally changes the flow of the shoot, right?
Yeah.
For good or for bad, whatever. But when you're an editor, you are forced to deal with whatever you're given. You are given a whole bunch of clips, and you're told, here's the script, here's the blueprint, here's the stuff that we shot. It's supposed to match the script. Hopefully it does. Hopefully. And let us know if we need to do a pickup day. A lot of pickup days come when the edit is not being able to be fleshed out because you didn't get that insert. You didn't get that wide shot. We don't have anything here. And it really is the actual construction of all of the different elements. It's like if you were going to make a painting, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm going to start painting. Okay, well, where are we going to buy a canvas? Whoa, we're not buying a canvas. We're going to grow a tree, cut the tree down, mill it into a frame, stretch the canvas after we've woven it ourselves. Right?
Okay. Bleach it. Do you bleach the canvas? Or is it unbleached?
You can. And then you get a whole bunch of paints and you squirt them into the little cups. And then you take the brush and you give it to an editor and you go ahead. So tons of work went into making this painting prior. But the editor is like, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, whatever. Now, some people say, well, that's not necessarily true. The director makes the final choice. Yep, absolutely. But the editor does things like controls pacing and it controls a whole bunch of different things that we're going to get into. But I feel like these days, because of the internet, so when did you really get into YouTube? From jump? Like from the beginning?
Yeah, I was using other file locker websites then. There's other hosting channels or websites, and then YouTube came out, and I was probably in like 6 months, found out about it like 6 months after they started or something.
So did you ever watch Full-Time Filmmaker, Backyard Effects, Indie Mogul? Did you watch any of those things, yeah. Right? Oh, I submitted a question to them, dude.
Yeah?
If you search through, I forget what episode it is. I've tried to look for it before. I can't find it. But they had these things where you could upload a video. And I recorded on my laptop. Yeah. And I bought the Audio Technica AT225 or something shotgun mic that had a little... made my father take me to Radio Shack to buy this microphone. Anyway, Indie Mogul, Backyard Effects, they were all like different tutorials on how to make shit in your... make movies in your backyard with your siblings.
Yeah.
And then there's like this onslaught of, later and more recently, I'd say the last 10 years, there's been this onslaught of editors like Daniel Schiffer, Peter McKinnon, all these different people who are like, here's how to make this look really cool. Or, and I'm sure you've heard this phrase, how to make this epic B-roll montage. Here's how to make a cup of coffee look as complicated as humanly fucking possible.
Yep.
Okay? Don't get me wrong. They're cool. But the difference is that social media rewards attention and retention and stimulation. Whereas movies, as a conceptual piece, when it comes to editing, they reward emotion, character, tension, payoff. Those are two completely different jobs. It's almost like a lot of these internet content editors would be better suited editing trailers for films. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to the films themselves.
Yeah.
But then it made me think, if you're doing any sort of content for a business, right? If it's all just the same epic B-roll crap, it doesn't really tell anything. But what's the alternative? These ridiculous... sometimes horrendous green screen like interviews of like, hi, my name is Ashley and I do eyelashes and this is Lashes by Ashley. Say that 5 times fast. And then it like slowly transitions to the front of her store. Maybe her logo pops up. And while she's talking, what do we fill the space with? Epic B-roll. Epic B-roll. Here's an eyelash. Here's an eyelash. Come on down today, laughing in silence while you blur and load logo with phone number, send a client, $5,000. Thank you very much.
There you go.
That's not a movie. There's nothing personal there. And what editors actually do is not what most people think. Most people think that editors cut clips together, they remove mistakes, they add music, they add some transitions. But editors, again, they control pacing, information, suspense, emotional rhythm, perspective, who's telling the story, whose side are we on, who has the power, things like that. And an editor decides, what does the audience know, when do they know it, and why? And that's storytelling. And that's part of the reason I enjoy it so much. Because you may think on set that it's going to end up one way, and then you watch the final edit of a film, even if you've been on set every single day, and you go, oh, that's what they did with that. Oh, that's interesting. I remember shooting that. Yeah, wow, that's interesting. Oh, they put that there. We didn't even shoot that on the same day. Or like, now, I know we love Christopher Nolan, right?
Yeah.
If you've seen The Odyssey, and this is not a full like review of The Odyssey, but the first, I would say, 15, 20 minutes of The Odyssey, sorry, it's some of the worst editing I've ever seen in a film to date. And people go, oh my God, how could you say that? Because it's the worst editing I've seen in a film in quite some time. And it cost $250 million to make the film. It should have been the best editing I've seen in quite some time. And it's really just not. Now, by contrast, if you look at a movie like Oppenheimer, which some people liked, some people didn't, some people think it was too long, editing is like when characters in Oppenheimer... Did you ever see Oppenheimer?
I did, yeah.
You know those little points throughout the film, not at any particular moment, where one character will be talking to another character. A will talk to B about C. And they'll mention the name, and then they flash to a cut for like maybe 10 frames of the person they're talking about.
Yeah.
That's good editing to me. Does that mean it needs to be in every film? No. But you're reminding the viewer, hey, come into this conversation with us. You've been sitting here for 4.5 hours, and we're only on the first scene. Look at this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, hey, this is who we're talking about. Just to remind you of whatever. There's something that's been going on in content editing, reels and such, where people will be talking about what they're going to do. We have this firework, and we're about to pour 10 gallons of gas, and in the middle of their sentence while they're talking, it'll cut to a flash of the giant explosion, and then just cuts back to them continuing, and you're like, oh, I know what's coming. I'm going to stay for this.
It's funny.
Well, it's an attention grab thing. Do you know what I mean? It refocuses you. Now I'm willing to wait and listen to this kid talk for another 2 minutes instead of just 30 seconds or 3 seconds of an explosion, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Right? Those are two different things, though. One is reminding you about the other character that we're talking about so that you can have a better understanding of the story and you can pay attention and you can focus in more. And the other one is like, I want that payoff. I want that dopamine hit. I want that. I'm going to watch. I might even just scroll forward because that flash looked really big. And you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of talk right now, at least within the film community, about how we're in a quote unquote attention economy. Attention is for trailers. Okay? Storytelling is different. And if you have the same editor editing your trailer as is also editing the actual film itself, I got to be honest with you. I'm really not a fan of cold ones.
Cold ones.
And I know you love cold ones.
I want you to like them. They're great.
And I want to like them. It's not because they're Australian. It's because the editing is too much for me.
Yeah, they get different editors on each show.
And a lot of people like it. A lot of people like cold ones. They're very, very successful. I'm not a fan of the editing style of cold ones. It's just too much for me, for my brain. I like to be able to have things to focus on.
I do look past it quite a bit to see their actual reaction, because sometimes logos and animations do kind of.
It's just a lot. It's difficult to keep up with the show because it's too jarring.
But that's what makes it a bit funny too. It's a lot at once.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about this rise of this epic B-roll YouTube culture, because listen, I'm not saying that I'm so much better. I feel like people misconstrue a lot of my takes on things.
Okay.
I'm not sitting here saying that I'm so great at editing and all these other morons. I did the epic B-roll shit too. But it almost kind of feels like very early on in an editor's career to me. It feels like, yes, I also used to wear pull-ups when I was 4. I've since stopped doing that. I've matured. Why are we still doing epic B-roll? Why are we still doing, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. Now, I did see this video by Luke Forsyth recently. Luke's great channel, growing, doing well. And there's a little bit of a shitty opening to this video where he's interviewing an editor, and the editor says, I can usually tell within 30 seconds if someone needs some help. And doesn't offer to help anybody with anything, and then goes on some random diatribe about how, I'm sorry, it's the truth, about how you needed to be telling a story. And doesn't really like dig in, it's not very helpful, you know? He's like, well, it's like very gatekeepy and shitty and like, shut up, you know? Now, Luke's great.
Does that guy like help later on in the video? Because I only watched like the first minute, maybe.
And why was that?
It didn't really grab my attention.
Why not?
I didn't really like the guy because his opening line.
Douchey.
But
Douchey. It was douchey.
Well, I mean, does he explain himself better like later on in the video?
You didn't want, but like you didn't watch it. That's the point.
Yeah.
It's not helpful. It was like douchey.
I also really just care what Luke has to say most of the time.
He also said something that was completely antithetical to everything I hold near and dear when it comes to filmmaking.
Which
he
is?
said that there is a vacuum or an opening in the market for the quote-unquote shooter editor. I hate that. I hate that. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you're a DP, focus on lenses, focus on shot composition. You can make your own reel, but quite honestly, if I were a DP, I would hire an editor to make my reel. Not because I want to spend money I don't have, not because I'm a director of photography. My job is to compose images that are going to help the director better tell the story. So that entails a shitload of work and is a very difficult job.
Yeah.
When a scene does not make the final cut of a film, where do they say it ended up?
On the cutting room floor.
How many DPs do you know would spend time with a $250,000 telescopic jib going in and out and around, and we're going to go up here and down here, do that. And it's a whole day of shooting something crazy and allow that scene to end up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
That's why it's shit to have a DP as the editor. It doesn't mean that that it's impossible to have the DP be a good editor. I'm not saying that. But 9 times out of 10, and I've heard it, DPs will be editing and they'll go, well, you know, I spent so much time on that. It'd be such a shame. It's a great shot. It looks great. Not the point. That's not how you tell a story. That's not how you tell a story. And the editing really decides how a story is being told. The problem with epic B-roll is that it can, at times, completely overcomplicate the most mundane, minute details. Like I said, if 2 characters walk into a coffee shop and want to buy a cappuccino with the nice little thing on top,
Cinnamon?
whatever,
Okay.
or whatever the fucking thing is where they do the cream thing, you know what I mean, on top, across, they draw a picture with the cream. Is that a cappuccino?
Oh, yeah, the foamed milk.
Whatever, but just say yes or no.
Sure, yes.
Thanks. Oh, God. My point is that if the purpose of the scene is to hear the conversation between the 2 characters, why would we need to watch him froth the milk? Why would we need to watch him draw the mermaid out of the foam? We don't. We don't need to see any of that shit. It doesn't matter. And yet, 2 characters will walk in and they'll go, yeah, I'll have 1 cappuccino. What's next? Who the fuck? What? What the fuck was that? What was that? It doesn't help the story along. Even if the movie is about saving a coffee shop from going out of business, I don't need the epic B-roll of the cappuccino being made. It's a coffee shop. I don't need that. Does that make sense?
Baristas are kind of like artists, so...
Then they can hire a fucking cinematographer to make an epic B-roll thing, and at the end they go, buy a coffee from me. If you're making a movie about people who happen to walk into a coffee shop, why do I give a fuck about the artistry of the barista?
Okay. I hear you.
Unless the movie is about the artistry of baristas. And even still, the epic B-roll, the problem with the epic B-roll is that it's very self-aggrandizing for the editor, to me. It's very, look at what I can do. And it's like the object of a good editor is to have you be totally immersed in a story and like hanging on at the edge of your seat for dear life throughout the entire thing, unable to look away, not to flex editing skills. Do you know what I mean? And editing reel to say, here's what I do. I'm an editor. This is if there's an editing reel, that's your time to flex your editing skills and have the best things you possibly can. Doing crazy montagey edits or edits that are really choppy, really fast, you know, like no one's ever left a theater and gone, wow, what an incredible J cut that guy made. You know, when I sit back and I think about that movie, the only thing that comes to mind are the J cuts. No one ever mentions that shit. What they'll say is, I laughed, I cried, I couldn't stop watching, because the edit served the story. As the editor, it's your job to make other people look good. And if they look really good, next time you watch a film and you go, fuck, that guy is so fucking good in that movie, you're supposed, yes, I'm sure they put on a good performance, but thank the editor. Thelma Shoemaker used to be still is a big inspiration to me, working with Marty Scorsese.
Okay.
And she's the editor. She's like the editor for pretty much everything.
I'm glad you said that. I had no idea who Thelma was.
Yeah. She's like this little, cute as a button little lady with a fiery personality who's like, yeah, that looks like shit. That's not going there. We're not doing that. Fuck it. Like, that's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't do that, Marty. You can't do that. She's very opinionated, strong, and she'll go, what are you trying to say? What do you want to have done in the film? He'll go, well, I'm thinking.
She didn't look like the prettiest shot and put that in the film?
No, she cares about story. In fact, there's a lot of times where the continuity gets fucked up because she edits to performance. She doesn't care about smoke, cigarettes. She doesn't care about any of that shit. She cares about the story and what's being told and where the audience should be looking.
Yeah.
And when you focus on where the audience should be looking, the rest of this shit doesn't matter as much. It matters, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't matter nearly as much. And the general audience will their minds will allow them to look past things like a cigarette that keeps lengthening and shortening or whatever based on the takes that you're cutting between. Oh, man. Speaking of cutting between things, every cut needs a reason when you're editing film. Not every cut needs a reason when you're editing content. Okay? Maybe you want to show a whole bunch of pretty things. Rapid succession. Maybe you want to cut to the music, which I guess would give the cut a reason. But when you're telling a story with dialogue or when you're telling a story about someone doing something, you show what matters to the story. And I explained this to another filmmaker very recently. I call it the campfire rule. And people go, what the fuck does that mean? But it's an analogy, so shut up and pay attention. Maybe you learn something. Stop asking so many questions. You listen, maybe a question gets answered. The campfire rule is that if you were to go sit around a campfire with your friends and family, or either or both, and you say, oh, this funny thing happened to me the other day, and you go to tell them a story. If you want to be a total fucking weirdo, but just go with me for a minute. If you told the people around the campfire, I'm going to tell you a story. Close your eyes, I'm going to tell you a story. The image is in their head as you're telling the story that their mind creates. So I was walking down the street, I'm going to the store. Immediately they start thinking of an image in their head. That's the movie. So when you are talking about that, it doesn't matter if there's a homeless guy over there, if he doesn't do anything in the story. If he's not in your story, it doesn't matter. And by the way, they're not going to think of the homeless guy. What they're thinking of is what you're talking about. When you can tell a story and it matches the edit of a film, that to me is peak storytelling, peak filmmaking. That's what it is. Style is seasoning. And they used to say this in sales all the time. You sell the what? You don't know. It's okay if you don't understand. I don't know.
I know the term, but I forget it.
You sell the sizzle, not the steak. Okay? little bit of psst, little fire, flame, little something goes by the whatever, right? Nice. If the whole thing is, eventually you go, is the steak gonna burn? Is it well done? What are we doing? It doesn't make any sense. It has to make so you give it just a little bit of
Nice.
you know, and you go, oh, it's so good. The story is the steak. So the style needs to be just a little something, not something that takes away. It should enhance. You know, it should make it just that much better. If the people care about the seasoning and they don't say anything about the steak, have you ever over-seasoned something?
Of course.
And you take a bite and you go, I'm so disappointed. Why? It's still a meal. It's still whatever. I've ruined it. It's been ruined. R-O-O-N-E-D. It's been ruined. It's horrible. Too many transitions, effects, music, overlays. And then you get inundated on Instagram and all these other places with these advertisements for, here's our library of 50 million sound effects. So you should download it today. And what's the first? Why would you download it and then not use it? That would be a complete waste of time. So you start putting every sound effect in the book into your, you know, whatever.
Nice.
Constantly. Here's our whoosh pack.
Whoosh pack.
Shut the fuck up. It's enough. Do you ever hear of taking a microphone outside and going into the microphone and then editing it on your own? Why the fuck? Why would we download your whoosh pack? You know? What people do, they go, I need whooshes. I need whooshes. Where am I going to get whooshes from?
Maybe someone doesn't have a good enough microphone at home.
Take a piece of construction paper and go like this in front of the mic, and it'll go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make your own. This is what they do. Star Wars, there's great documentaries about the making of just Star Wars sound effects. They have all these different clips about how they would scrape a thing on a barbed wire fence, and it would make the blaster noise. When was the last time you made yourself a sound effect to use? You know? Make something on your own. Make a sound library. There's these guys for Dune with those like bug fucking planes or whatever. They look like extremely uncomfortable modes of transportation, but they look like dragonflies, these planes. Okay. And the way that they did the wing sound, because the wings, you know, whatever, right? They took like a rubber band on the end of a thing and like vibrate it next to the mic, swinging it around. And it's sick. It works great, but like, that's a storyteller, you know? It's not someone who goes and downloads Peter McKinnon's latest LUT pack and goes, oh, piss filter. This is great. You know? Oh, look, I made the sky yellow. That doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it better. Okay? Make your own stuff and have a reason behind doing what you do. Otherwise, you're just making the sky look piss yellow. For no reason. For no reason. You can't just do that unless you're being invaded by giant piss monsters. I don't know. Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Like, did someone cast a spell? Why is the sky yellow? You know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A great story with a good script and good directing and blocking and everything else will survive basic editing. It'll flourish with good editing, but it will survive basic editing. And I love to do this when I'm hired to edit a film, which happens rarely these days, but it does happen. I always do 2 cuts of the film. Okay? The first cut that I do is a script cut, as if, you know, they say the script's like a blueprint. Some people like to whatever.
Yep.
But you wrote the thing as the guideline. So the first cut that I always do matches the script 100%. The second cut that I do is my personal take, where I might add a little B-roll, little extra, little something, little digital push, little this, little that, whatever in there. And I can present both of them to a director and say, okay, time for your notes. What do you want to do? Here's what was written. Here's what I can do. Now it's time for your notes and input on everything. And if you want me to scrap both and start over again, no problem. Because that's an editor's job. You know?
Yeah.
Great films, narrative films, constantly ask questions because it's the director's way of telling that campfire story. And so the editor can't give away too much and also needs to be able to give things away at the right time. So great films, great editing constantly asks questions. And I mean that from the viewer's standpoint. Who is this? Can they escape? Will they tell the truth? Did he actually just do that? Is that person really dead? And those questions require answers to satisfy the viewer. And so what ends up happening is the viewer continues to watch. That's called emotional and psychological buy-in. Okay? They are investing their time because they're looking for that payoff, the dopamine hit, whatever it is, of having their question answered. Have you ever watched a movie that didn't really answer questions?
Yeah, of course.
How do you feel after leaving that movie? You feel good?
I feel like I missed something.
But how does that feel though? What's the emotion that would come along with that? It's not overly dramatic,
Not
but on a
the best.
basic level,
Not the best. I wish I could have understood more.
Right.
Yeah.
Name some emotions.
Um.
God, you're such a guy. It's fucking crazy. Name some emotions.
Oh,
Happy,
man.
sad, elated, joyful. Name some emotions, Edmund.
Maybe.
How does it make you feel when you leave a movie not understanding what the fuck you just spent $21
A
on?
little empty, you know.
Okay.
Is that a good one?
Empty. What else? What about emotional state? Think about the line of faces. One of them's happy, laughing, crying, kind of sad. One of them's sick to their stomach.
Maybe a little disappointed.
Disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Sad. Sure.
Okay. And does it have anything to do usually with the characters in the story?
No, if I don't understand a film.
Right. You feel gypped, duped, stupid. You feel like you wasted money. You feel like they got one over on you. You feel like you wasted your time.
Yeah.
And you'll feel even worse if other people around you go, that was amazing. That was really great. You go, am I a fucking idiot? I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bad storytelling. Bad storytelling. It's not good. What's it called? Pacing. Let's talk about pacing. Pacing is not equivalent to speed. Okay? A lot of beginners misunderstand this shit. Fast does not equal good pacing. I was watching, and I love this channel. Everybody should go watch them if you're an editor or you like editing. This guy edits on YouTube. He's got an accent, but I don't put it past him. He's a great editor, and he makes great content about editing and being an editor, et cetera, et cetera. And recently he was kind of analyzing Top Gun Maverick's timeline.
Okay.
And when you zoom out and see the whole timeline, the editor for Top Gun was saying, oh, you can definitely see where the flight sequences are because there's like a trillion little edits there. And then, you know what I mean? But pacing was that it would be like every 20 minutes, I would say, in Top Gun. And maybe some they're shorter than others. But if you look at the whole timeline, every 20 minutes or whatever was a burst of like edits that were the flight sequences. And so you had a natural, when you looked at the whole timeline, you could see a natural kind of like pace and ebb and flow so that you allow story stuff to happen. And right when you might lose the audio, back in the plane's very big, back in the plane, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those things really matter because they are the pace of the film. And sometimes each one of those little sections can get bigger as you get to your main event. But you know what I mean? You're letting those things happen. You're only going to see that and understand that pacing once you look at the entire timeline. Just doing as many fast cuts as you can to one song doesn't really mean anything. Sometimes slowing down creates tension that is needed in order to communicate the correct story. Silence before dialogue, holding on a reaction. This is why I tell directors, too, when we're on set, don't cut right away. I love to let actors squirm on camera. I love it because they're forced to make a choice. They're forced to do something. And in those moments are where all of those best interviews happen afterward down the line? You think it'd be better? Like, yeah, it was just an accident. I didn't even know he was still rolling, and I just did that thing, and it became like, yeah, that's the whole fucking point. If the character is supposed to say, happy birthday, Edmund, and then after that, like, that's the whole take, is I come in, I walk up to Edmund and say, happy birthday, Edmund. If I say, happy birthday, cut! Okay, well, I hope that works. Okay, moving on. Right at the end. That's it. And if the director tells an actor, here's what we're just going to, Ed, just stand there. Nick's going to walk up to you. We're over your shoulder. Not just ready and action. I walk up and I go, happy birthday, Edmund.
Thanks, Nick.
No problem. It's your birthday, you know? Even if that's not in the script, that might be a funnier moment, which might serve the story better. But we're forced to do something because we're just waiting for someone else to say cut. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have those moments. If you cut right away, okay, cut, moving on. We got a lot of shit to do today. Oh my God. You got to let that shit breathe. And then and by the way, that's the time to let it breathe is on set. So that you have the editor, they have all of these options when it comes to editing things. You don't have those fucking options if you don't let it breathe for a minute on set. But also realize and remember, and again, this is why DPs shouldn't be editors, just because you let something breathe on set doesn't mean it needs to breathe in the edit. But if you have a scene where it's like two friends who haven't seen each other in a while and Nick is coming to Edmund's birthday to surprise him for something, and the edit is cut so fast that it's like, hey, Edmund, good to see you. I can't believe I've seen you again. Happy birthday. Great. Yeah, thanks for coming, Nick. Wonderful. Let's go in. We'll have some cake. Eats the cake, goes to bed, wakes up the next day and goes, I can't believe I hadn't seen Edmund in 5 years. Where's the friendship? Where's the time that they, like, let's talk. What have you been up to? I can't believe it. Let that breathe. Let there be an awkward moment. I haven't seen you in 5 fucking years. You see what I'm saying? Just because it's fast doesn't make it better. Fancy editing.
Fancy editing.
Fancy editing. Stylized editing absolutely has a place. And some examples of this in major Hollywood stuff would be that guy who made Shaun of the Dead.
Simon Pegg?
Is that who made it? Or is it the guy who's in it? Or is it the same person?
I honestly don't know.
So he uses like epic B-roll style stuff for transitioning from one thing to the next thing. And it helps because his characters, the dialogue, they'll say stuff like, oh, I've got a lot of stuff going on and I get my hair cut and then I got to make some coffee and then I got whatever, right? Very British. And then it's like montagey B-roll. It's like coffee, cut, moving on, zipping up the tie, first day of work, and and that's like those little sequences are the transition themselves to move us along to the next part of the story that does matter, and then all of a sudden you stop and you wait and you breathe and the scene continues.
I want to say I saw that in theaters, but it came out in 2004, and it's directed by...
my God. You're definitely there.
It's directed by Edgar Wright, but screenplay Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright.
Yeah, Edgar Wright is who I'm talking about. Very big on those quick cut, and it's like an entire sequence that acts as a transition. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters, I thought.
But it's not just that one. It's any Edgar Wright film. Someone will be walking down the street. He gets a call from the girlfriend who goes, hey, you grabbed the wine, right? Because we're going over to what's-her-name's house tonight. And he like pause for a second, and then you'll just see it be like, ka-ching at the cash register, this, that, whatever, cork, wine, blah, blah, blah. And then they're there at the party or whatever with the card and the flowers. The doorbell rings. They open it. He's there with the wine. Everything's great. It's a whole transition. Music videos, commercials, sports, travel films, product launches, a lot of YouTube content, reels on Instagram. I have tons of cuts in my reels or whatever because you're taking all of the... Okay, let me scroll my notes. Here, it's the next thing. You don't want to see this. That's not the point.
It was Shaun of the Dead I saw in theaters.
Shaun of the Dead is so good.
No, I'm sorry. Hot Fuzz, I meant to say.
Hot Fuzz, so good.
Wasn't a fan.
Sorry, Mr. Right. You were Mr. Wrong. Let's talk about some of the biggest editing mistakes that beginner editors make and DPs. Cutting because they're bored. When you look at what's wrong?
Nothing.
You're clicking and looking and it freaks me out.
I got off the Simon Pegg Google search.
Okay, fair enough. But it freaks me out. When you start looking around, you get this look in your eyes like something's
I
wrong.
did Command W and very close to Command Q, which I should not have clicked. But no, we're good.
Please don't.
Excellent stream health. We're
Thank
good.
you. Wonderful. Okay. Cutting because they're bored. Instead, fix the writing. Fix the pacing. Don't just cut because you think that more cuts makes things better. It doesn't make things better. In the beginning of the Odyssey, there is a conversation that happens between Penelope, what's her name, Anne Hathaway and Tom Holland. There's not a single J cut in the whole sequence, and the framing of the characters is this. It is this, cut to this, cut to this, cut to this.
Interesting.
It is so jarring and difficult to watch for a scene that is kind of just exposition. It's just saying that he's been gone for 10, 20 years and a lot of suit. They're just having a conversation. And it feels like very intense for a scene where they're standing on a rooftop with the wind blowing their hair around.
So it cuts to them looking into the lens.
They're looking at each other,
Yeah, I know,
but it's
but
like
yeah.
it's like this. It's like maybe this as opposed to this.
Yeah, of course.
Back and forth. Every line has a
gotta be
cut.
jarring.
Every line has a cut. Okay. Like, boom, boom, boom. And you go, what the fuck am I watching? It was very uncomfortable. Like, I was like, oh. Okay, I didn't feel... a good edit, even ones that are intense, a good edit will massage the eyeballs a little bit, okay? It's like pleasant, even in scary movies, even in the jarring moments, even in an Edgar Wright film where there's quick cuts, it's because it's like intentional. So it's like nice. It becomes one of those videos where you watch the guy mixing paint or whatever. It's just satisfying. He pours the stuff in, and does a little scoop around. Get that edge.
You watch those videos?
Oh, you know what I love? You know what? You want to hear a guilty pleasure of mine?
Let's hear it.
It's the guy that rolls bottles down the stairs.
Yeah. Whenever I see that, I'll watch one.
Nothing makes me feel more like a man,
Yeah.
like one of the boys, than watching this fucking guy, Russian, whatever the hell he is, roll a bottle down the stairs. It only makes 3 of them, and I catch myself doing what he does when they break, and I'll sit there and watch it go, ksh, and I go, oh, just like that guy, you know? And then I realize what I'm doing, like wasting time, and I go, oh my God, I need to stop. What am I doing? Nothing is more primal than watching this motherfucker roll glass down the stairs. And the only thing I can think to myself is, thank God I'm not cleaning this shit up.
Yeah.
How many times will he drop a cannonball on an old tube TV before it breaks? I'm making little polymarket bets in my head. Okay, it's going to happen on the next one. It's the next one. It's the next one, definitely, 100%. That's my, massage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Zone out massage. Cutting on every line. We just talked about that. Using music to create emotion. I don't know how many people know this. Apparently, beginner editors think that when they see the love of their life for the first time, angels will actually sing in the background. They don't sing. There's no singing. When your dad finally does come home with cigarettes and milk. You know what I'm saying? He's been gone. It's been 15 years. And he goes, you'll never guess the journey I've been on. And he goes, na, 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 in the background, you know? That doesn't happen in real life. There's no music in real life. When you're running away from a bad guy, it's not going dun 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 dun. That's not happening in the background in real life. The music will enhance whatever it is, but you should be able to watch and edit on mute and feel what's going on in the story. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch your favorite movie, whatever it is, on mute.
What's that called? Non-diegetic sound or something?
Sure, I would say editing in silence. You just quit out of the stream to look something up.
Is any audio non-diegetic sound? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Probably not. Okay.
Non-diegetic sound is any audio in a film or show that comes from outside the story world.
Okay.
Anyway.
Great.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so that would be music, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's like 1999 or 2003, where you start with an intro song that plays over your credits and then conveniently has that filter passed over it because someone's actually listening to it on their headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a car radio and then they turn it off and cut the music and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We're doing that one again. Okay. Cool. Never letting shots breathe. Sometimes, especially after something that is like very intense editing wise, like the audience needs a, like just, and I'm talking like 10 frames, like just like, boom. Can we just stop for a second? Let's reset our mind and now let's continue the scene. It doesn't have to be like you sitting there for fucking hours, but let people process the last 30 seconds. There's like a 30-second delay in the human brain. You know? Let them process that. Something I should have mentioned on the actors episode that we did 2 weeks back. You should go check that out after you subscribe. Subscribe to the channel.
I was going to say something about that too, but go ahead.
New actors, speed through dialogue. Speed through dialogue. They don't shut up. Brrr. Happy birthday, Edmund. Great to see you. Go, what? What? Happy birthday, Edmund. It's great to see you again. That's the line. Let it fucking breathe. Let it breathe, man.
Yeah, I was going to say for new actors.
Wrong episode. Go back to it.
Yeah. When they stop acting before the director says cut, like, improv can come in or just, letting it breathe.
Oh, yeah, it's the worst thing in the
Or
look
look at the lens. Like, was that good? Like,
why do you think I'm doing the shows in this order? You're 100% right. Imagine I walk in, same thing, same scenario. I walk in, we're over Edmund's shoulder. It's my coverage. I walk in and go, hey, Edmund, happy birthday. Is that good? Oh, my God. Keep acting. Never stop acting. I feel like I said this a couple weeks back.
You must have, yeah.
Editing before understanding the story. A good editor, I would say even a great editor, will read the script and have their logger go in and log all of the takes and all of that stuff. If you have a good script supervisor, that's very helpful. Good take, this one, whatever, right? There are 2 rules that I think every editor should absolutely follow, no matter what. 1, read the script, make notes on the script before you watch a single clip. Before you watch a single bit of footage that has ever been recorded regarding principal photography, you read the script and try to make notes on the script, and then set up a meeting with the director and say, you pitch the film back to him. You tell the director's story after you read the script and make your notes. Because let me tell you something. I don't know if you know this or not. No director in the world will allow you to tell their story wrong. So if you're telling the story back to them and they go, whoa, that's not what I intended. Now you know. Mental note and physical fucking note as well on the script. This is wrong. Do this way. Do these things take time? Yeah, but we're all about making money here. And if you're going to make money or ask someone for money in order to do a job like be an editor, then you better do shit like this, because if for no other reason, it shows the people paying you that you give a shit. That's why it matters. Read the script before you watch anything that has been filmed during principal photography. Make notes, set up a meeting with the director, and pitch the movie back to the director. That is all rule number 1. Rule number 2 is watch every single frame of recorded footage from principal photography twice. All the way through. Every single thing. The first time you can be organizing, and that might help you, but you need to watch every single frame of footage that is recorded. That is like saying, I'm going to paint this picture of this seascape, whatever it is, and you have ocean blue sitting in a cup right there, and you're like, I'm going to use a little bit of green, and maybe I'll make my own blue because I don't know where the blue is because I didn't look for it. It's sitting right the fuck there. Sitting right there. Watch every frame of footage all the way through so that you have stuff to do the stylized edit with, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, just try it. Just try it. You need to know your material. You need to understand the material you have before you can start putting the paint on the canvas. Otherwise, you make the sky fucking yellow because you grabbed the wrong color. All right? Or you start doing crazy eyes white and eyes black and opening your mouth and freaking out for no reason. For no reason, because you think it looks cool. It doesn't look cool. Read the scripts. Study the performances. You can have an organizational watch through of all of the footage. This is like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you've never edited anything before. If you know the material that you have, and if you understand the story and the script the director is trying to tell, a monkey could do an assembly cut. They may not know everything to do, but you'll look at stuff and go, okay, well, that's this scene, and that's this scene, and I know how to put this together. And once you do that 3, 4, 5 times, now you can start adding a little bit of flair. Now you can start adding your little, well, I thought this would convey this better. If you don't understand that it's supposed to be sad, and you don't realize that that little clip of me walking in and saying, "Happy birthday, Edmund," is at the hospital, and he just got into a drunk driving accident where he killed a 7-year-old girl. And I'm walking in and I go, "Oh,
Was it my fault?
happy birthday, Edmund." Such a different thing. Such a different thing. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
How are you going to cut that? Why would you cut away from me when I say that? Maybe not seeing my reaction is better, or not seeing Edmund's reaction to me saying that is better than seeing his reaction to me saying that. Because you are Edmund in that moment if we're over his shoulder. So why would you cut to his face immediately after I say that? Or maybe you want to. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have intentionality behind it. It depends on what story you're trying to tell. The campfire thing is such a good analogy to me because it eliminates all of the bullshit. We did this, we did that. This looks cool, this doesn't. The campfire thing, if you can't tell a good campfire story, don't be a filmmaker. Don't be a filmmaker. Learn how to tell a story, or don't have an opinion when a good storyteller hires you and says, put the camera over here, cut it this time, cut it that time. You know? I would love to give everybody some homework. Take a conversation scene, editors out there, take a conversation scene and change the edit to make it a happy conversation, a sad conversation, whatever emotion you want to. Make the same scene 3 times with 3 different edits using the exact same footage. And I guarantee you'd be shocked at how letting something breathe a little bit here or a little bit there on the front versus the back, it's going to change the way you see everything. And you can do stuff like this, whether it's podcasts, content, a narrative piece. If you're hired to film something, go make a sad wedding edit of your last client. You don't have to show anybody. Your last wedding client, go make it a sad wedding. Like, show it to your mom. She'll laugh.
Tears of joy, or I hope they last more than 3
How
months.
does me saying make a sad edit? How do you take that and go, tears of joy?
Well,
would that be sad?
well,
It'd be
some-
tears of
some
sadness.
people,
Joy would not be a sad edit. Don't edit things. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's not difficult shit. It's really not. No zooms, no effects, no music. Just play with the edit and the timing of the conversation. See what happens. Can you still make it emotional without adding in music to help you along? Because it's a crutch. Edmund, what are some things that you would say make an edit good? Oh, that's a good edit.
Something that keeps me in the story, which is what you already said earlier.
No, I'm asking you personally.
Yeah.
What's something where you're like, oh, that's good editing?
Something that utilizes the correct shots in each sequence.
What's a movie where you barely noticed the editing? And I'm asking you this because there was a lot less editing when editing was physical, tactile. You know, it's just cuts. Not always, but you know what I mean. If you go watch an Alfred Hitchcock film, if you go watch the first Rambo movie, They did everything in camera, so it's just cutting.
Just thinking about that movie. I got to see that. It's on TV
Rambo?
all the time. Yeah.
You still have cable?
Well, no, like at a bar or something. It's always like playing in the background.
It's
making
so
rounds on,
funny.
like,
It's so funny the lengths you will go to justify going to a bar to get drunk.
Yeah, I know.
Shocking, dude.
They had
We need
Rambo.
to have
I
a
had
conversation about this or
I
something
know.
off air. It's getting bad.
Well, I'm seeing films, and
But it's getting bad.
I'm seeing films, and I'm having a drink on the side.
Do you think social media has made young filmmakers worse overall? Because it's like on the one side, anybody can start doing stuff like this, which I think is great. And it allows for people that wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to kind of flex their prowess, if you will.
No, I wouldn't say social media is ruining young filmmakers. I'd say we have, more now than ever, technology at our fingertips at like such a
Yeah.
inexpensive price. So I feel like if you do want to get into filmmaking, there's all the tutorials on YouTube. You don't have to go to college. You can share it much easier than when I was.
Jesus, it's like training. It's like learning English for the first time.
I'm trying to think.
It's shocking, man. It's shocking to me. Trying to think. You have to think about trying to think. Focus on
I'm
thinking
live.
and then saying words. You're live. You're not even on camera.
I know, and I'm nervous already.
I don't know why. Look, if the audience notices the edit, it's a bad edit. It's a bad edit. If the audience notices the cinematography, it's bad cinematography. Okay? If the audience notices acting, that's the one thing where the audience is always like, "Oh, that movie was shit. It's horrible."
Yeah.
And sometimes they blame it on the writing, but a lot of the time it's the delivery. It's not DiGiorno, you know? When the credits roll, people don't remember the cuts. And if they do, you did your job wrong. Bottom line. That's it. Oh, Edmund, we got anything? Can we talk about our week last week?
We have some comments.
Oh, what do we got? Anything relevant?
Yes, because I will not read something irrelevant. Because
Except you do every week. You find a way.
I love doing that.
Where
too.
there's a will, there's a way.
And there's a keep prod.
Where there's a WillCo, there's a way. Oh, what's Keep Prod have to say?
Prod, how's it going? I couldn't help but notice that I wasn't included in your pre-roll intro, so I'll be sending you random unsolicited clips of myself. You can place them in your pre-roll edit. Thank you, Keith Prod.
See, the thing is, like, that would be funny or, like, cute if he wasn't in the pre-roll. He's, like, all over the pre-roll. He's all over the pre-roll.
Oh, he is?
He's literally all over the pre-roll. He made the first, the propaganda clips that I play.
So was he not watching?
I don't know. Maybe he's an idiot. I don't know. Probably wasn't watching.
Okay, anyway.
He's literally even the montage that I made, there's like shots from when he was a DP on one of my films. Like he's all over the edit.
Interesting.
You know who's not in the edit? You.
I'm not.
And yet the person who's in it is complaining that they didn't see themselves. I think you just didn't watch it. Okay? Maybe if you focused more and you actually watched, you'd learn something. It wouldn't make your sky fucking yellow. Okay? All right? Rec 709 is not a bad way to leave it if it looks normal. Go ahead. What else?
Jish.mp4. Hey, Josh. How's it going?
How are ya?
Would it be accurate to say an editor and a proofreader have a similar role in delivering on the intent of a story?
An editor and a proofreader. I know that it's difficult with the chat being slow. Can you give me a little bit of clarification on what you're talking about? Is there another comment that we can go to if we can come back to this one?
The last two are from Josh Jish.
Yeah, what else did he
My
say?
biggest problem with content editing is that it's just vibes. The only thing I feel watching frantically chopped B-roll is motion sickness.
It's true. It's true. We're going to get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
But it's just a little preamble. That was my way of letting you know. But it is true. And the thing is that's why I'm saying, like, social media, if you're really good at the epic B-roll stuff, if you're really good, you should become a trailer editor, you know, because you don't want to give anything away. It's a little montagey. It's fast-paced. It's whatever. You have in a world, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You can throw those things in there. But if you're going to edit something long format, how do you edit Oppenheimer to be interesting? Because let me tell you, that movie's really lengthy, and it could have easily been 6 hours long with too much of Cillian Murphy going like he does in that film. Okay? Could have been a lot of pausing and eyebrow rubbing. How do you make it the right length? How do you make it the right stuff? That's the stuff that's important. Go ahead, Bob.
Also, jish.mp4. If you reverse any sound that slowly decays and mess with the speed and pitch, congrats, you've basically made a whoosh or riser. No $50 pack necessary.
It's true. I can't stand the sound effects packs. And there's like this one that's, I think it's Oculus, right? Not to put everybody on blast, but they make plenty of fucking money. Where it's like one frame clips or whatever, and it's like, and each one of those is like a sound effect. It's like, okay. What am I looking at? None of these clips even go together. It's just your sound pack. You know, it's like none of it is, it's like, oh my God. Painful. It's fucking painful to watch.
Did you ever watch like, television back in the day when you'd hear...
I've never watched television back. Go ahead.
Where you'd hear the same audience laugh. That you're like, I know that. It's not like the Will.
Yeah, when I was a kid, Disney Channel, I used to listen for a specific person laughing because it was the same laugh track on every show.
For me, it was all that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's one or two that I'd be like, oh, I heard this 10 minutes ago or last week or something.
Yep. Did you know that in the I Love Lucy days in the 50s, the laughs were real? Like they were real. And because they were contracted by, like Desi Lou was contracted with, I think, I want to say CBS, some network, right? And because their show was so low budget, everything is like literally first take. Like they just did the show. If you watch an I Love Lucy episode, which is great for editing and stuff like that, like just watch it. It literally is a play. There's like 3 cameras, there's a wide, there's a couple of close-ups, and they just go through the whole show, and most of the episodes take place in 1, maybe 2 sets. That's it. Because it's like a play.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good to focus on the writing, the things that laugh, and they still have, I'm pretty sure for sitcoms, they have the longest laugh in recorded history.
Really?
Yeah, Lucy's hiding eggs in her shirt.
Oh, yeah.
They do the dancing, and they crush the eggs, and the audience just pees their pants. They just pee their pants, and it's one of, like, the last episodes of the show. And she just stands there. I mean, she's fantastic. She didn't stop acting and look up or whatever. She's, like, trying to, like, swipe the eggs away. It's so good. So good.
Yeah, that and the, what did she work in, like a fudge factory or something like that?
Chocolate factory. Yep,
she's hiding them in her mouth because they're coming out of the conveyor belt so quickly.
Speed it up a little. They're like freaking out, their big face. You know, it's great.
Ethel?
Ethel, yeah, Lucy and Ethel
in the factory.
My favorite is the Vitamita Vegemin one, where she's trying to do an ad read for this product.
Familiar, yeah.
Vitamita Vegemin, and it's like 48% alcohol. They go, that was good. Let's do it again. She just take a big spoonful. So she's basically doing a shot every time she does. They have her do it like 10 times. She's shit faced. Vita Meaty Veggie Pop, whatever. She drinks the whole bottle. It's so good. Fantastic. Everything is one take all the way through. Really, really well done.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they'll do a scene twice. Once without an audience, and then once with the audience, because the laugh, you're only going to get the laugh once. So you get the laugh, then you play it over the good take. It's like, it's all... Cable's dead, man.
Yeah.
Cable's dead.
I know.
Speaking of laughing that wasn't, we went back to our local free comedy show last week.
That was fun. I had a good time.
Nice.
Saw some people I haven't seen in a few years. It was great.
Yeah. Some people should stick to, touring. I'm just kidding.
To what?
Duck tours.
Oh.
No, there was some funny people there. We had same hostess.
Same host?
With the leastest. Just wouldn't get any better. I'm hoping, it's like now I feel like we have to go back all the time so that we can see any improvement. Something tells me after the years that it's been happening, improvement is not an option. Pretty sure.
So are we going to turn into regulars?
Did Jish clarify his comment?
Yeah, something came in. How'd you know that?
Because I was asking for it and Jish was watching.
Oh, it just popped in.
What did he say?
He said, my context was too long for YouTube, but basically both a proofreader and an editor can choose to keep or remove from a story to deliver on emotion. That's what I was comparing.
Okay. I don't disagree. I think an editor is more like a composer in the sense that they are... It's like imagine playing every note on your guitar. It just plays guitar. Imagine playing every note on your guitar and then delivering them in files of here's this note, here's this note, here's this note. The editor's job is to say, oh, these are great, and then compile them into a song. And the director has the ability to go, nah, that's not what I was going for. Until the song is right, if that helps. Proofreaders are looking for different things. They're looking for like spell check, mistakes, etc., stuff like that. So it's not that I disagree, Josh. I don't know if that's necessarily the best analogy. If that makes sense.
Sorry, we were talking about laughing.
Yeah, laughing. Yeah, it was crap. The comedians were not that great. I like open mics though, because the thing is with open mics, if you go to an open mic and they are really funny, if they hit really big, it's the same as watching the guy roll the glass bottle down the steps.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, like it's so satisfying. It makes you feel like the whole night was worth it. The comedy shows that we go to are free, and I feel like I paid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because at open mics, there can be like 4, 5, 6 terrible people in a row, and then you're like, you see the 7th person, and you're like, oh, this person's gonna stink. All of a sudden, they're hilarious.
Yeah. Haven't had that happen yet. It's like scratching tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Not much of a gamble.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
What else did you do last week?
Nothing. Lots of stuff. I did. There's some good content coming out. Keep.
Yeah, didn't you film something today?
Yeah, not today. I didn't film anything today.
Oh, yesterday?
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know
but
either.
There was nothing filmed today, but there have been some things. There's some things in the pipeline.
All right.
Or pipelining. Okay.
Would you say you're maybe editing now?
Pipeline.
Okay.
Pipeline. Okay.
Yeah.
Nick Williams Show is every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I know we talked about editing this week. I said in the comments last week that I was going to talk about ADs. I'd love to talk about ADs at some point, and we will. I'd like to go through every role on set. But this week, the editing thing, I saw that video, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Who is this guy? But I really, it's like a message to people, like, tell me a story. Tell me a good story. Don't do cool camera moves and include them because they're cool, because the end result is less than cool. Okay? Make sure, if you're watching, that you subscribe to the channel. We're at almost 650 subs now.
Nice.
Which is nice. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was bitching at 630. Now it's 646.
Look at us now.
Tell your friends. Tell your wives. Make a YouTube channel for your dogs. Do what you got to do. Subscribe to WillCo Media. Very important. Some might say the most important thing you could do on YouTube would be to subscribe to WillCo Media. Or don't. People don't tag me in posts that I'm participating in anyway. So who gives a fuck? NBD. Love you all. We will be back here next Monday. Edmund, do you have anything else?
No.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. We will see you next week. Have a good night.